Episode 28, and this week we're looking at creating, trading, and selling NFTs. Hey, and welcome to the Learn Cardano podcast, the podcast where we break down all the ins and outs of Cardano so that you can be the next big Beeple. You know, that guy that sold that NFT for $69 million? Yeah, that's going to be you in a minute. So in this episode, we'll be going through the process of creating, minting, and trading NFTs and seeing how you can go through the process of creating these NFTs and perhaps create a bit more income from them. It's a relatively easy process on the Cardano ecosystem. It's a little bit different to how things are done at the moment on other blockchains, and that's purely because some of these smart contract capabilities aren't baked in quite yet. Smart contracts are available, but not all of these contracts have been fully deployed on the Cardano mainnet yet. So we're just waiting for that. We'll go through all of this in this episode coming right up. But first off, let's get into some news for this week. So there are a few projects launching on the Cardano ecosystem at the moment. And this one here I'm looking at the moment is called Empower. They're looking at RealFi, or Real World Impact DeFi. It's around a property platform on Cardano that combines emerging technologies, sustainable building, and decentralized financial inclusion. So it works along the lines of what Cardano's mission is in Africa, and Empower works along those lines. They're trying to build this affordable housing in a sustainable way, which is very, very mindful as well. Because if they're trying to build millions and millions of homes around Africa for people that can't afford it, it's going to cost the earth, I guess, a lot in return in regards to resources. So the concrete, the wood, bricks, whatever they need to use to actually build these homes. So they're building sustainable homes in Africa en masse and on scale. So it's a very interesting project. It's a very cool way of going about it and creating that real fire, those real solutions that can have a human impact within Africa, and using blockchain technology to do it. They have their ISPO, as I mentioned, on at the moment. You can delegate to one of their numerous stake pools. They have two operating at the moment. They also have a founding community NFT, which is there to try and raise a little bit of extra capital for the actual project itself. Now, when I first looked at this, I didn't quite understand how it was working. I could see a large image with a bunch of squares on it, but each one of those squares in this large art piece is an NFT. You can click on one of those squares and then purchase that particular NFT. And at the moment when I'm looking at the screen, I can see maybe 9 more squares left. So there aren't many left at all. And if you manage to get into this podcast and check out the project and you want to support it, you'll be able to just get into it and maybe purchase one of the last NFTs for the project. Now, there are some added additional benefits of owning one of these NFTs. Not only is it limited to 1,024 of them, but it also allows you to have access to certain things. So there are exclusive privileges for the founding community members that hold one of these NFTs. They'll be able to access extra content and more information about the project, plus be able to access significant Empower events and bonuses that are made from time to time. There is also a free bonus NFT. So once all the NFTs pieces have been purchased and the entire canvas revealed, there'll be commemorative NFT that will be sent to all of these founding community holders of that entire canvas. So that's pretty cool too. And for some very lucky ones that will receive a premium privileges status, 176 randomly selected founding community NFTs will have a premium status assigned to them. So this creates that extra level of rarity in these NFTs. And this will give the owners of these particular NFTs that have premium statuses earlier access to some of the events that will happen within the Empower community. Overall, I think Empower is a brilliant project and something worth getting behind. And the idea and the concept of how these NFTs that were created to support the project I think is brilliant as well. So it's a very good execution of the ISPO, the NFT to create that founding community collection and actually have some really cool utility behind that particular NFT. So it gives you access to a couple of extra little things for the community. So I think it's pretty cool. Another project that I've been following closely is ViFi or ViFinance. And you would have noticed a few videos that I've done with Stephen Wood and Jack Koshin about the project in general. So if you haven't, check out the YouTube channel, you can see all the videos there. But the team have released a special NFT, a commemorative NFT, a purple and a gold version. I think there's about 1,950 purple ones and 50 gold ones. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember the exact numbers, but there's a very limited number of them. And something really cool is happening with them. You will be able to stake your NFT. So if you own one of these, you can actually stake it in one of their special pools that they're setting up purely just to stake the NFT itself, not staking ADA or anything else, just staking this NFT. And as a reward for staking it, you get ViFi tokens, which is really cool. I think it's about maybe one ViFi token per day for each day that you stake it. So it's a very slow release, but if you're holding this, you can stake it to their pool, earn some extra ViFi and trade it maybe in the future. So it's a really cool extra utility for the NFT. So it's not just holding the NFT, it looks pretty and you can put it in your wallet and you can say, yeah, I was one of the founding participants in the ICO sale of the ViFi token, but you can actually use it to earn more ViFi tokens. So that's really cool, a really cool little utility to it. It was mentioned in one of the interviews that I did with Stephen, but he didn't go into any detail about how it would work. And it's finally looked like it's going to happen soon. The announcement of this sent the floor price or the base price of this particular NFT, which was selling on CNFT.io, up. So it was selling around, I saw a couple of selling for like 20 ADA back in the early days when they first listed. And now I think the lowest I can find is 450 ADA. So it's gone up by quite a considerable amount over the last week after this announcement was made. We don't have any details of how the staking will work or when we'll be able to stake the NFT yet, but keep your eye out on the podcast. I'm pretty sure I'll have the details and I'll be able to let everyone know about this particular staking mechanism soon. Another really cool news item that has come out in the Cardano ecosystem is smart contract marketplaces for NFTs. And where this has come out into play is on the spacebuds.io website. So Alessandro and his team have been working diligently on making the very first smart contract for tradable NFTs on their website. So they've done a whole lot of work around all the tooling that is needed. So they've been working on the NAMI wallet, which I've done videos on as well. So you can check out all the details about the NAMI wallet and how that works. But they needed that Web3 wallet to be able to interact with the website and then interact with a smart contract on the website. So now you can actually go to the SpaceBuds website and buy an NFT from that open marketplace via the smart contract using a NAMI wallet. So this is the very first interaction I've seen from that Web3 experience to be able to buy a NFT via a website with your wallet. So there's no escrow in the middle. So you're not paying a middleman to a wallet. You're interacting directly with the blockchain with a smart contract there. So it's a really cool. It's the first one that I've seen. I'm pretty sure it's the first one out there in Cardano. So SpaceBuds were the very first NFT project to launch a 10,000 release NFT. They were the very first ones to now have smart contracts, a smart contract marketplace on their website as well. So SpaceBuds are by far the pioneers in the Cardano ecosystem, and I am extremely excited for them and what they're doing, all the development that they've done. Now, the team have also built a notification bot, and it's tweeting out the prices and what's for sale currently on Twitter. And you can also see it in their Discord. But some of these are going for over 400,000 ADA at the moment. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's the market's Yeah, they're fairly bullish on what's happening in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment. Maybe some people are coming in from other blockchains, Ethereum perhaps, seeing that these NFTs are just starting to grow and lift in the Cardano ecosystem, and they're just diving straight in and buying some of these. Like the comparative price for these NFTs are actually still very cheap compared to what's going on in Ethereum at the moment on the Ethereum space. So for 400,000 ADA, it's actually relatively cheap compared to what's selling on the Ethereum ecosystem. So just to put that in perspective. But huge congratulations to the SpaceBuds team. It's a mammoth effort to get Cardano to this point. And I don't know. I've just been amazed to see the growth of this project and what the developers have been doing. They were the very first to pioneer how NFTs were going to be sold in these big drops early on. So they were the first ones to work out a method, and the entire community followed suit. And now they're the first to deploy a smart contract marketplace. And I'm pretty sure all other people, all other ecosystems, all other marketplaces will follow suit very, very soon as well. I believe their code is open source. I did flick through a GitHub repo to have a look over it, and I will post links to it in the show notes as well. So if anyone else wants to check this out, see what they're doing, see how they're creating these NFT marketplaces using smart contracts, check it out. They have done it. Now, you may be wondering how you can get into all of these NFT drops. We can see them releasing online, and suddenly within like an hour, they're all completely sold out, selling 10,000 NFTs all in one go. It's absolutely incredible how many people are really getting into this NFT space. But there are resources and websites that are now being created where these NFT creators can list their projects so that you know when these projects are going to be released. So one of them is called CNFTcalendar.com. Check it out. A whole bunch of projects have listed when they're going to release their NFTs on there. So you can just have a quick glance over the site, see what projects you may like, see what the communities are like behind the projects, because you have to remember the communities are quite important. And if there's anything you like, you can purchase an NFT through that, not through the particular website, CNFT Calendar, but you can find out what the website is for the project and purchase it through there. So it's a really cool resource. There's a few more of these are out. I'll put in additional links into the show notes as well, so you can find out exactly what they are and when your next favorite or next possible favorite CNFT project is releasing and launching. Talking about launches, a couple of projects, really large ones, have been doing their initial token offerings or some of their initial staking offerings. World Mobile was one project that was releasing their early staking system. You were supposed to be able to log into their dashboard, load up a particular wallet, and then reserve your staking spot within their system. Unfortunately, that process grounded to a halt when everyone that I could see on Twitter were trying to log into their system to earn these early staking rewards and stake their World Mobile tokens so they could possibly earn more. Because of that huge demand and load on their servers, essentially we all created a DDoS attack on their environments, on their websites, and they weren't able to fulfill orders. So it looked like traffic was going through, bypassing the firewalls, getting past those bits, but the service itself couldn't handle the amount of load that was coming through. So it's a highly popular project. A lot of people did get through and buy the World Mobile tokens during their initial token offering sale, but this early staking mechanism didn't quite work out as well as it should have. Now they have released, they haven't released the official date, but they have said they're going to release a new date of when you can go back into their system and reserve your World Mobile token staking spot. So if you're reserving an Earth node, you can do that at this later date. Or if you're staking in general, you can stake and get through those tiers. I think the FOMO factor, the fear of missing out of getting into the very first initial spots so that you could get the best staking rewards created this effect and desire to be the very first ones into their system. So a lot of people were online all at the same time getting in there. And unfortunately, it didn't quite work out the way they wanted. MinSwap is another project that did something very similar. They were doing a token raise to try and help pay for some of these costs that would be incurred in building out their decentralized exchange. So at the moment, they've built out their code, they've built out their testing platform, but they need their code audited. So to go through the audit, it costs a lot of money to get a third party to come in, check over all of their code and do their due diligence that way. So what they had to do was a token raise to raise more initial funds to actually pay for this. They did it in a very elegant way from what I've heard, because I completely missed out. The process was very smooth, very flawless in its execution. It managed to handle the load, but it sold out in about an hour and a half, and I completely missed it. I knew it was coming. I had the date set, but I can't remember what I was doing at that point in time. I must have been completely distracted and completely forgot. You know, life. You've got other things to do, right? So I completely missed out on that. And by the time I got back, I refreshed the screen and saw that there were, I think, 1,000 tokens left, refresh the screen again and gone. So that's the end of that. So if you're after those MinSwap tokens in that initial sale, unfortunately, you would have missed out. But if you are still staking, you can stake at one of their partnered stake pools in their FISO, their Fair Initial Stake Offering. You can check that out at fiso.minswap.org. Look at the FISO, what they're offering, and you can find a stake pool there that will offer not only staking rewards for your ADA, but also the MinSwap tokens that you can earn by staking at one of these pools. Now, from what I understand, I'm staking at one of the pools that I know on the list there, but from what I understand, if you stake at one of the very small pools that don't have the full saturation or a very low amount of stake, you get a bonus staking at one of the smaller pools. So you can continuously move your stake to one of the smaller pools so that you can earn an extra 25% of the tokens that you need, or not need, but want from the MinSwap Fair ISO. So check that out. MinSwap is a really cool project, and I have a lot of excitement for them for when they finally release their project as well. Adana, the stablecoin project, is another one that did a lottery. Yeah, a lottery is the best way to put it. They had an initial lottery that you had to sign up and register for so that these lucky people that were picked in the lottery could go on and purchase tokens in their first initial token offering. So it's interesting how they're limiting it to a certain select amount of people. I think this is to try and avoid some of the issues that some of these other projects were having with a mass amount of people coming in all in one go and flooding the servers. So if you can take a portion of your really enthusiastic users and capture them and then offer the tokens to them first, I think that's a good way of reducing the amount of load. So you know how many people you should be expecting in that first initial wave of buyers, so that can distribute the tokens fairly for those people. So they did a sale of the lottery process. They opened it up to about 6,000 people, and I believe 2,000 people would be able to purchase out of that first initial 6,000, so a third of the first initial intake. Now, they're doing their initial token offering on Ethereum, which is quite interesting. This will be done in November off the OccamFi platform. It's another accelerator platform that's out there that are doing a lot of really cool projects, a lot of really cool things, but taking a lot of the Ethereum ecosystem value and converting it over to Cardano. So they're taking a lot of initial token offerings from the ETH space and accepting ETH, and then converting that over to projects on Cardano. So it's a really interesting thing. It really confuses a lot of people, and a lot of people don't quite understand why they're doing this, but there's a lot of value in the Ethereum ecosystem. A lot of ETH is worth a huge amount. I'm just looking at the moment. It's worth $3,778 US per ETH at the moment. So you can imagine a lot of these people are holding onto their ETH. They don't know what to do with it. They are interested in jumping over to the Cardano ecosystem, but they don't, for whatever reason. They're so tied up in the ETH ecosystem, Ethereum ecosystem. So this is like a window, a gateway for them to be able to access these new assets on Cardano. So it is a really interesting play, and I think it's quite smart actually to actually do this, so that now they can tap into some of these really wealthy holders of ETH and bring over some of the value and some of the money that is locked up over there and over into the Cardano ecosystem. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty smart. You can think of it kind of like an export. So Cardano is exporting value over to the Ethereum ecosystem, and they're buying it up, and we're getting the value back over here on Cardano. So maybe think of it that way. All right, that is it for the news for this week. I've gone on for almost 20 minutes with all these actual news items, and there is so much going on in this Cardano ecosystem at the moment. I feel like I can do a news update every single day and keep you updated with all sorts of different things that are happening in the ecosystem. But let's go over to the main topic for this episode and talk about NFTs. If you haven't noticed, the NFT space is going absolutely crazy at the moment, and the CNFT space, the Cardano NFT space, is going absolutely insane as well. With all of these different layers that have been taken care of, the way that NFTs are minted, the way that they are sold in bulk in these large 10,000 drops, for example, and now that the fact that the smart contracts are coming into play, it's just the perfect environment right now to get into Cardano NFTs and start minting them and start selling them. So we're going to see more and more activity right now. So if you're ever been interested in creating NFTs, now is the time to start getting into it. So how do you go about the process? How do you start creating an NFT? Where can you go to do it? How can you actually get it sold? Where do you go to sell it? And what happens next? Like, how do you start marketing yourself and show yourself as an NFT creator? All right, so let's start from the beginning and look at some of these resources where we can create NFTs. So first off, the easiest place that I have found to create an NFT is on a website such as nft-maker.io. So this is a really basic interface. It allows you to put in an image of some sort and some very basic metadata around that particular NFT. You go to the website, you put in that little bit of information, and then you step through to the next stages where you pay for that minting service. An address will appear on the screen, and it will give you the amount of ADA that you need to pay to actually mint the NFT. You go through that transaction using your wallet on Daedalus or Yoroi, and that NFT would then be created, minted, and then sent back to your wallet with a little bit of ADA left over. So it's a really cool and really simple process. So that's probably the easiest way of creating it. NFT Maker also have a huge platform behind it called NFT Maker Pro. This Pro allows the developers in the ecosystem to create NFTs en masse using an API that the creator has put together, Patrick Tobler has put together with his team. You can check out an interview I did with him in episode 4, where you can find out a little bit more about the base level NFT maker that he created and then how it's evolved into where it is now. So you can check out Pro if you're a developer and you want to do a larger NFT drop. You can create all of the NFTs within his platform and then sell them out using the API as well. So if you're at that type of level of developer that wants to do something like this, then NFT Maker Pro is a really cool way of doing it. There are some other websites that do let you mint and create NFTs as well. I did an interview with Mermaida from Metro Mermaids Pool. She has a tool on her website at metromermaids.com where you can simply mint an NFT or tokens on the Cardano blockchain. So you can go there, you can submit the metadata that you need as well to create an NFT, or you can create your own token And that's where I created the Learn Cardano token, the Learn token. The LRN is the short name for it. And that's where I created that. And it was a simple and easy process. The hardest bit was actually creating a graphic for the particular token. That took me way too long. But going through the process of actually minting it was really quick, really easy. And I can't recommend Mermaid's minting service enough. I know it's helped a lot of people in the Cardano ecosystem get started in the NFT space. So they provide a lot of support and help as well. So they've got a lot of loyal customers that use their service. So check it out. Now, a third way that you can create NFTs is via the command line itself. So if you're a developer and you know how to set up a Cardano node, like a relay node, you can interface directly with the Cardano blockchain using the command line interface. And from there, you can write the transactions that you need, provide the metadata that you need as well, and mint your tokens that way. That is by far the cheapest way of doing it in terms of cost of ADA, because it does cost you some ADA to go through and mint a particular token. So that's the cheapest way of going about it. But you do need that entire technical know-how of how to do it. You need to be able to set up the node. You need to be really comfortable with writing scripts on the command line, and you will be able to interface with it that way. That's why all these other services have built interfaces on top of it to make this process really easy. It's a little bit harder, a little bit more technical. I have minted and experimented with it in the early days. There are YouTube videos on how to do this as well. So if you're interested in learning how to do it and getting more comfortable with setting up a Cardano node and interfacing with the blockchain directly, this is the way to do it. This is a really cool thing that you can do to actually get up and running and learning about how some of the infrastructure of Cardano actually works. But if you're not and you don't want to get into any of that stuff, you can go directly onto one of these minting services and get started there. All right, so now you've created an NFT, it's stored within your wallet. Now what? What do you do there? You need to look for somewhere to sell it. So these are some really cool places where you can sell your NFTs at the moment. CNFT.io. It's probably the most popular website at the moment. It is, I believe, the very first one, and it's only been around for maybe 7 or 8 weeks. It's still very fresh. It's still very young. It still has a massively growing development team. They've seen so much surge of excitement. It's had a lot of technical issues in the early days, but it's getting better and better each time. The site is more scaled up, and there are thousands and thousands of NFTs being sold on the platform every single day. So it's really cool to see it grow, and it is by far probably the most dominant marketplace at the moment. So once now that you have your NFT, you can go to a website like this and load up your wallet into the website. So you need to register an account and then link and load your wallet into the website as well. I will be doing a video tutorial about this. It's a little bit hard to describe over on an audio podcast, but check out the video eventually that I'll put up about linking up your account and starting to sell on CNFT.io. You can jump onto the website, link up your wallet, and then it will list all of your NFTs that are in that particular wallet. From here, you'll be able to pick which NFTs you want to sell and set the price for them. And then it will be coming up or appearing in your listings area of your account. So that way you have a direct link to the listing that you just put onto the website. Now, once this is there, it will appear on the main Explore page, but with the amount of NFTs that are listed at the moment, it really does get lost in the mix of all of those NFTs. So you do need to start now promoting by pushing out that link to that particular NFT page that you've just created as a listing, and push it out via Twitter, push it out by Discord or any other channels and means that you have access to. Now we'll go into marketing it in a moment, but there are other websites that you can list and start selling your NFTs on. There is tokenhunt.io, which is another fairly new project that has appeared that allows you to list all of your NFTs. And there is also another one called X NFT, which is coming really soon, and you'll be able to sell Ergo-based NFTs as well as Cardano-based NFTs. So that's coming up really soon. Now, with those three marketplace platforms, you also have the ability to create and mint your NFTs on them as well. So if you look at the site navigation on any of the sites, especially in particular CNFT.io or Token Hunt, they have a little tiny tab, or not little, but a navigation item that will say mint or create. And on clicking on that, it's a very similar process to NFTmaker.io, where you can step through the process of creating an NFT and list it all in one step. So it's another way and another method that you can actually create NFTs. So these marketplaces are becoming a one-stop shop where you can do all of your creating and selling of your NFTs. Great. So now we're up to the third step of this process. You've created your NFT. You've listed it on a particular marketplace so that you have the ability to sell it. But now you need to actually find an audience that will be interested in your NFT artwork, whatever it might be. This is the hard bit. So in regards to selling it, you will need to engage with various communities and promote your artwork just as you would promoting it in the physical space. You need to find a community. You need to find a place where you can actually push it out, where people can see it and possibly find someone that's interested in buying it. I found the best places at the moment to do this is on either Twitter, where you can engage with other people that are interested in NFTs. You can post links to your listings and hashtag it with relevant keywords such as CNFT, Cardano, NFT, etc. And that should help build up some reach. It's probably a good idea to also engage with other community members and other artists and other projects that may have already built up a really good following. So this is leveraging other people's followings, other creators' followings to try and help boost your own profile. This does take a long time, and it does require you to build up some relationships with various people in the community as it is. No one's really going to just promote you out of the blue for the hell of it. Maybe you find someone nice that would do that, but building some sort of relationship with these existing people in the community is probably the best way to go about it. But hey, on that process of doing that, you are most likely to make some friends along the way. You'll be able to meet some people, learn off them, and find out exactly how they're selling their NFTs and how they're promoting their artwork on the Cardano ecosystem. Now, I have mentioned a lot of this in previous podcast episodes. I believe it was episode 23 where I talked about how you can possibly earn more ADA, and selling NFTs was a large part of that process. But in regards to what I mentioned in that episode, there are various Discord servers that you could possibly join and tap into in order to find a little bit more reach, a little bit more people where you can sell your NFTs. One is CryptoFly777's Discord server and Flowers Auction House. I'll put the links to them in the show notes so that you can find them, or you can listen back to episode 23 where I talk a little bit more about this as well. So now you have a general idea about how you can go about marketing and selling your NFTs. You should probably look at building your own communities and building your own sales channel so that you can leverage it again in the future. It's great in order to use other people's systems that are already existing, but it really helps if you have your own place where you can engage with your own community and fans of your artwork. One of the biggest things that people love is actually engaging and talking to the artists themselves. So it's one thing to admire the piece of art, the NFT that is being purchased, but being able to actually engage with the artist itself and learn more about the artwork is something that community members, people that buying the pieces really love doing. You can find that a lot of people are more interested in the artists themselves other than just the piece of art itself. So it's really important to build this community, build it via Twitter, which is very engaging and very big in the Cardano ecosystem, and build it on Discord, where a majority of people are looking at building their communities. Discord is a great place to build communities, to be able to engage with the community and build a community itself. Last but not least, it's probably a good idea to think about some sort of website where you can promote your work. Now, for some people, creating an NFT alone is quite a daunting process. But, once you've got that down packed and you understand how it all works, you need a constant and consistent marketing platform that you're not relying on a third party or random links from the site once you list up your NFTs. So you need somewhere consistent where you can send people and say, hey, just go to my website, check out my website. You can see all my listings of my NFTs there. It will take you to the various marketplaces where you can purchase them. But that is a really good centralized way of promoting all your things. So you can say, hey, just go to peterbui.net and you can find all of my NFT listings, learn more about me, etc., etc. So it's probably the more important thing that you need to do after building a community and building a following, having that place, that sales channel for yourself so you can actually drive people to. Now, like I said, it may seem really daunting to go down this path building your own website, but there are a lot of cool, quick, easy tools that will allow you to do this. Squarespace, Wix, WordPress.com, they're all really good platforms where you can quickly spin up a website for a really low price, really relatively cheap, and start promoting your work and building up your website, building up your profile. So highly recommend you checking that out and going through that entire process. So in regards to actually creating, selling, and marketing your NFT, it isn't quite a straightforward process. But if you're already an existing artist with a website, taking that extra step to actually create NFT out of it isn't a huge or big deal. You can digitalize your artwork, create the NFT around it, start engaging with the community, and have your existing website, hopefully you have an existing website, to list your NFTs and drive people to. So they can check out more about your work, learn more about you, and then actually start selling your NFTs via your website. All right. Hopefully you found this really useful if you're thinking about creating NFTs and wondering how you go about selling and marketing it afterwards. It's probably the hardest part of that particular process. I did an interview recently with Jason Matias, and you can find that on our YouTube channel at Learn Cardano. I'll post a embed to the interview as well. But he goes through his journey as an artist where he started as a photographer and then slowly progressed into the NFT space, starting off on the Ethereum blockchain and listing things on OpenSea and Rarible and getting a bit of highlights on the Binance Smart Chain and being a promoted artist there. And then finally landing on Cardano, where he is now engaging with the community, building his own community via Discord, and then selling his NFT artwork there. So please check out that interview for getting, so you can get more inspiration in regards to how to go through this process. Jason's doing a brilliant job, and I highly recommend you watch the interview. Now that leads me to the end of another episode of the Learn Cardano podcast. I would like to read out a podcast review that came in last week as well. And this is from Eric Zombie. I think I know who you are. Cardano in a nutshell. This podcast will take you down the rabbit hole and make you realize why Cardano is so special. Pete, the main dude running the show, will cover everything you need to know, from current events to in-depth interviews with developers and awesome tutorials for streamlining your experience in the Cardano world. If you have not listened to his podcast yet, what are you waiting for? So Eric, thank you so much for that lovely review. Now, if you love and enjoy this podcast, I highly encourage you to leave us a 5-star rating or review. It really helps the discoverability of the podcast, helps that little algorithm that happens in the Apple Podcast network and promotes it up that little bit. So please leave us a 5-star rating or review. It really helps with the podcast. Now, that's it. I've gone on for quite a lot for this podcast episode. If you haven't yet registered, well, not registered, if you haven't yet voted in Project Catalyst, highly encourage that you do. Scroll through all those lovely projects. There are so many of them to go through, and check out my highlight list on Twitter as well. You can find it as a pinned tweet for all the projects that I've been looking at and have voted for in Project Catalyst, if you want a bit of an idea of what to vote for. So please check that that out as well. Make sure you vote. Okay, so until next time, everyone, please keep those seed phrases for your wallets safe and secure. Buy a giant safe or something. Chuck it in there. All right, bye.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating. IOHK, Emergo, we're not affiliated, not Cardano Foundation. We just gotta say it. A show that you can learn and it's for your entertainment. Yeah, you gotta check it. Don't wanna be missing that. You were tuned in to the Learn Cardano podcast. Yeah, giving insight. Ain't another show like this when it come to crypto. Invest at your own risk. Might not be for everyone, but who it is for, we keep giving you some info and plenty more. Hey, yeah, the Learn Cardano podcast. Hey, yeah, the Learn Cardano podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Keep it locked right here. Let's go.